Are you trying to live life alone? Are you a mom who doesn't know how to ask for help? Let's talk about it. Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades of Shilamida with your hostess, Shilamida. For those of you that are watching, I went for a little bit of a different look today. I got the beach wave vibes going on because of a new product from Pure Haven. It's a sea salt spray and I'm loving it. I can't wait to take it on vacation with me when my hair gets like super frizzy. Today is not a very frizzy day here, so it was a little bit harder for me with the weight of my hair. But if your hair is shorter or has a natural wave to it, look at how beautiful. For those of you that are listening, you can go check out my YouTube at 50 Shades of Shilamida to see what I am talking about. But today I want to talk about helping yourself, asking for help, living life alone, right? Because let's face it, it takes a village to survive, especially if you have children. For those of you who have children, comment below, let me know, do you have help? Do you do it all on your own? I know that as a kid growing up, we did not grow up with babysitters. I didn't have nannies. If we needed to be watched, it would be my grandparents that would watch us primarily. And when I had my first son, it was kind of the same thing. I didn't have babysitters. I didn't have nannies. I just had my mom. And that got really hard when I became a single mom because my mom and we bumped heads a lot. So if she would get mad at me and she wouldn't talk to me for a couple of days or sometimes a couple of weeks, I would be stuck and I would not have anybody to watch my son. And it was super hard. I mean, any parent knows and any single parent knows that sometimes you need your own time, right? And so for some people, they won't hire babysitters at all. They don't want strangers near their kids at all. And coming from both sides of the fence of having one child that I raised nearly on my own without any help, and then having other children that I've literally raised with a village of people to help me, I've seen it from both sides of the gamut, and you kind of have to do what makes you feel comfortable. But if you want to live a happy, fulfilled, comfortable life where you are not doing all the things, then you have to let go a little bit here and there. So let's get into it. One of the things that I do with my clients is I help them upgrade their lifestyle, right? I help them create a lifestyle where they are living in pleasure and desire versus have to dreading life every day. So how does that happen? Well, for me, how it happened is when I was pregnant with my second son, I was in a different situation. I was with a different partner, and part of me getting pregnant, I had said to him that I won't do it again without a nanny or without some kind of full-time help, because being a single mom to my first son was more than enough for me. I am a human design projector, for those of you that know anything about human design. So I require alone time. I need time to myself. I need time to retreat. And, as much as I am grateful that my mom is alive and able to help, I can't always rely on her. And as I was working through my own mommy issues, it was great that I didn't have to rely on her, right? Like, I know some of you watching probably feel stuck, like that's your only source of help. So how do we outsource the help without compromising your values, right? Like, for some people, you may say that you'll never bring in help for the children. So how can we outsource some of your other help? So what ended up happening is when I was pregnant with my second son, Benjamin Lover, and my husband now, were moving in together. And the day before we were supposed to move, the people that were supposed to help us move, they canceled on us. And so at the time I was selling everything in my apartment, and my massage teacher from a massage school had stopped by to buy something. And I started to panic because we didn't have anybody to move us. And I was very pregnant. And so what she said to me was, oh, my daughter and her friends are graduating from high school. They will do anything for $10 an hour. And so the following day, I had 5 high school kids show up to my apartment, and they were amazing, right? So 5 kids showed up, $50 an hour, and we had help. Now, if you were to have 5 adults or 5 workers show up, $10 an hour may not be enough. But what we need to remember is that there's so many people in this world and in this life who are looking for some extra cash, which is also part of the reason why we need to keep cash alive, because the fact that people are able to do these little side jobs for cash actually gives them an advantage in life. But that's a conversation for a different day. So what ended up happening is we moved into our new house, and now I was very pregnant with a lot of boxes and still momming to my other son, who was probably around 5.5 at the time. And it was overwhelming for me, and I couldn't do it. So I turned to my now husband and I said, hey, do you think that we can bring one of these kids back tomorrow to help me unpack? And so that's kind of the way that the village started for me. It started with one person that came in at $10 an hour, and this person was willing to help me with anything. So what I help my clients do is to decipher, what is it that you love to do and what is it that you hate to do? And we're going to try to get your days surrounded by the things that you love to do versus the things that you hate to do. So for me, I hate washing dishes. I hate doing laundry. I don't actually hate doing laundry so much anymore, but I used to hate the laundry pile up, right? And hate is a big word, but it's a hate issue for me and the dishes for sure. I'm sensory. I don't like getting my hands wet all the time, especially with all the gook that's on it from the food. Not a vibe for me. So I dislike going to the post office. I dislike doing Amazon returns. I dislike going to the supermarket. So as you can see, I have a long list of things that I do not like to do. And so therefore I outsource for all of those things now. In the beginning, it wasn't as easy. It wasn't as convenient. It wasn't like, okay, I'm not going to do any of these things, right? But what was happening is that I was sucking my joy out of my day, right? So on the weekends, after working all week, I would stand in the kitchen window and I would watch my husband and my children enjoying the pool, enjoying the day, while I was slaving in the kitchen. And what would end up happening is I would get mad at him, I would get mad at the kids, and then I would spend the rest of the day yelling at everybody in a pissed off mood, right? So if you can relate, tell me below, because I know that I'm not alone, and that's why we need to have these conversations, because we need to help women and to empower them. And so the next thing you're going to say to me is, I can't afford that, right? So I can't afford to have somebody come in and help me, once a week, twice a week, whatever it is. But the truth is that you can afford it. It's just a matter of how are you spending your money. Now, for some people, you might be at the bottom of the barrel and you might be on food stamps, and you're just like, you can't even like make ends meet, right? But if you are getting your nails done, getting your hair done, getting color in your hair, going to Starbucks, grabbing a coffee from the local whatever, eating out multiple days a week, then you have the money. You just don't know how to budget your money properly. So that's a story for another day. And this is what we do in our one-to-one work, is really start to decipher, how do we spend the money where the money is expanding us, right? Because a lot of times we're afraid to spend the money. Like, we're afraid to ask our husbands for that kind of help, right? Like, well, why would my husband give me money for somebody to wash the dishes and do the laundry. Isn't that my job? But no, that's not your job. You're a woman, you're a mother. That doesn't mean that you're the one that has to wash the dishes or you're the one that has to do the laundry if you hate doing it. In a lot of households, it's a 50-50. If you go look at my stories from yesterday, my husband was doing the dishes and sweeping the floors yesterday, right? Because it needs to become a communication thing within the house that this is really something that I dislike. And my husband really understands that. So instead of me getting upset yesterday or shifting my mood, he decided to help, which was amazing. And it was like such a turn on that he was doing that, because we happened to have no help yesterday. Now, the way that I have my house set up, which was the specific question that triggered this show. So thank you to Celia for reaching out and making this happen for us all. How do I operate in my house now was the question. So I have a live-in nanny. I have a housekeeper. I have a house manager. I have an assistant, and did I say housekeeper? I may or may not have said housekeeper. And so the way that I have my week set up is so that I never have to do dishes and I never have to touch the laundry machine if I choose not to. So sometimes I do, like a lot of times I'll move the laundry in the house, but my nanny works Tuesday to Saturday. Sunday, Mondays are her days off, and my house manager works Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. So there is somebody who is in my house every single day whose responsibility is doing laundry and the dishes. So that is a part of their daily task list of things that they need to do. Now I have a housekeeper that comes in once a week and does a full cleaning. And then the nanny is responsible for all of the children's things. So she changes the children's sheets and she washes them. She does the children's laundry and she washes those. She makes sure that their bathrooms are tidied up. She takes care of lunches and driving for me. And then my house manager, she takes care of my stuff, my husband's stuff. She changes my sheets and laundry. She does all of the errands in the house that I don't like to do. She'll go to the post office. She'll go to the supermarket. On Monday, she'll help me with the kids because she's here and I don't have nanny coverage. And we just operate as a team. And then my assistant helps me on my business stuff. When I do events, my assistant will help with the kids. She'll help with the house stuff. She kind of just covers anywhere. She's like my right hand. So it's like she picks up wherever needs to be. And then, I also outsource landscaping here. So somebody comes in and does the lawn. I have a handyman that comes in and does the thing. So my husband is really good at making money, but my husband does not love to do, nor is he that great at doing household kind of stuff. So there's like this give and take of like, okay, I could be mad at him for not changing a light bulb for me, or I can make the phone call and have somebody come in and change the light bulb. And so as you advance in your life, everything is going to shift and change, right? Like when I first started all those years ago, I didn't have the team that I have now. But what happened was I started with one person at $10 an hour. And after that first week of moving, it became my responsibility to pay for that person, right? So my husband and I, when we first moved in together, he was going through a divorce. And so I needed to work and make my own money. I probably could have stayed home, but we would have lived a very limited lifestyle, which is not the vibe for either one of us. And as soon as I started making my own money again after maternity leave, I was able to say, okay, this patient, I make X amount of dollars. So if I see this many patients in a week, my bills are covered. And then this many patients a week can cover this many hours of help around the house, right? So when I had one person at $10 an hour, it was like, okay, well, I can spare $50 this week to get 5 hours of laundry and dishes help, right? And then as I started getting busier, it was like, okay, well, now I can bring somebody in for 10 hours. Then it was, I hired the first nanny, which was $500 a week. And then, we had back-to-back babies. So it was like, I needed the nanny and I needed a second nanny or a babysitter. another story for another day of my overwhelmed life and how I felt like everybody needed their own nanny around here, myself included. So there is a way of setting up your life that doesn't require millions of dollars in the bank. You have to look at it as an investment into your time, right? For me, it was I could stand in the kitchen, be angry, and wash the dishes and do laundry on my day off. Or I could work a little bit harder on the days that I'm working to see an extra 2, 3 patients, to have somebody else come in and do the work for me. And so as my business expanded, that's how I expanded the team and the staff that I have in my house and online in my business. The more money I created, the more hours I could hire out for. So it became this balance of, okay, I could be a stay-at-home mom and I could do all of the things all by myself, which would have made me absolutely miserable because it's just not my thing. Or I could go to work and I can create wealth and income that could then pay for an entire team of people, right? So it's like me going to work, not only was I helping to provide for my family, but I literally provide for all these other people. Like at one point, my salary was paying for 2 nannies, a housekeeper, and all the things, right? It's like anything is possible. Plus in my business, I had my online business manager, I had, my online assistant, I had the web people, right? Like there was like just all these people who, by myself creating wealth and income, then I'm helping others to create wealth and income too. So it's this beautiful balance that you just need to see from a different lens to understand how it works, because most people will tell you, I can't afford that. I'll never be able to afford that. I don't make that kind of money. I live paycheck to paycheck. But like I said before, it's like, where are you spending your money? I remember wanting a Chanel handbag. This is going back, I think I was pregnant with my 3rd son at the time. And I had never been in the arena of Chanel, so I didn't even know what a Chanel bag went for. I just watched The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and thought that they were really nice. And so I turned to my husband and I said, I really desire a Chanel bag. And so he researched one and he was like, do you know that these bags are like $3,000 used? And I'm like, well, I don't want a used one. I want a new one. And so he said, maybe for your birthday, I'll buy you one. And in that moment, I declared, no. I said, the first Chanel bag that I will have, I will buy for myself. And so after making that declaration, I had year after year that I was able to buy myself the Chanel bag, but I didn't, because it just didn't seem as a priority for me of what I wanted to spend my money on. I would have rather taken that money and spent that towards another team member or somebody else to do something that I don't like to do, right? I would rather be taken care of in service than in material things. Now, if we could have it all, let's have it all, right? Like the Chanel bags and the housekeepers and the nannies, I'm all for that vibe too. But for the moment, I'm okay without my Chanel bags. I am in love with my life because I spend my days doing things that I love to do, and I outsource everything that I don't like to do. And I can promise you, it doesn't take a 6-figure salary to get started this way. You just have to make a few shifts and changes. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to have a skill set that that you're going to go out and you're going to produce more by having somebody come in and help you, right? Like if you're just a stay-at-home mom and you're like, fuck it, I don't want to do anything, I just want people to come help me, well, that's okay too. But if your husband's salary is not able to pay for that, then you got to go out and make your own money, sister. And I know that you can do it. All of us are capable of creating our own wealth and our own riches. We all have the availability of the same resources. We just have to know how to use them. So that is my wisdom for you today. I hope that you enjoyed it. It really does take a village. I'm so grateful for mine. I don't know how we would be able to do it. My husband and I, we love to travel. We love to move around. We like to be on the go. And in order to do that, you need to have a lot of players in place. And I'm so proud of how I have evolved as a manager, as a boss, as an entrepreneur. There was a time where I had employees where I couldn't keep employees, and now everybody stays with me for years on end. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see my own growth and my own expansion, and how it elevates not only my life, but everybody around me. So I hope that that helps. For those of you that need more, want more, I suggest you go check out my website, www.shilamida.com. It's SHILAMIDA. I have a masterclass called Time Warp that I break this down a little bit more and get into like the details of it. So if you wanted to go check that out, if you want to work with me one-on-one, please DM my team on Facebook at Shilamida, on Instagram at 50 Shades of Shilamida. You can comment here below. I will respond to you here as well. If you are a weekly listener, thank you so much. I really love you and appreciate you. And if you are new here, please say hello. Let me know that you were here. Let me know where you are from so I can properly say hello to you. We can become friends. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.